Alright, hello. Doing another video on Madonna. How exciting. Potential croquet date, the 21st of November. Coming up. Not too many days now. I really wanted to do this actually a little bit earlier. I mean, it's the 17th today, but I really wanted to do it a few hours ago so I could have got it out before the 18th, because there's an interesting tie-in with Kamala Harris, Joe Biden to this date. Back to the dollar bill, but their date that ties into this is actually the 18th of November, not the 21st, as what I'm looking at here with Madonna. Okay, all will be explained as I go through this. But anyway, why did I even start looking at the 21st? Let's just start at the beginning. Why did I start looking at the 21st? Why? Because I found an interesting number jump simply between my birthday and this particular day, and it references back to Madonna. Okay, that's the only reason really why I started looking at this date, because it was just such an interesting number jump. And then I started seeing a couple other things, and then of course we have a little snowball effect, and now we're doing this video. Okay, so this is going to be a little all over the place as usual. But I'm going to start with this holiday from Madonna. Okay, look at the release date, September 7th. So we've got a 9/7 numbers associated with holiday. Okay, now obviously the holy day, there's a lot of references to what the holy day may be, or the holiday, but of course one way of looking at that is to do with the eclipse, which is to do with rebirth. Yeah, the two O's, the two holes going over each other, or a hole going over the sun. You know, I don't know how you want to look at it, but you could link it to kind of the eclipse, right? Kind of the idea of death and rebirth. Okay. Now, as we do link like a couple of the main holidays that we have to the eclipse, death and rebirth, like Christmas to Easter, etc. Okay, so anyway, so this 9/7 that's in here, right? So let's do a number jump. I think I've got this on the first number jump. I hope so. Yes, Madonna's birthday through to this particular date, 11/21. Okay, is 97 days. Okay, 97 and 9/7 are the same as the numbers we just saw in the song there, holiday. Okay, so we're going to go look at this particular date, yeah, November the 21st, just so we can get a feel for where it is, and the numbers that surround it. Okay, so we can get some stuff in the back of our mind. So we're in November. Here's the 21st. Okay, just bear in mind a couple of these numbers here. So the 40 and the 326th day of the year. Remember, the key bridge was on 326. It's the key bridge thing, kind of connecting into this as well. But okay, I suppose before I go any further as well, I should just point out that this is it's the 21st. Okay, and again with the idea of, I don't know if you ever saw that. There was a video from, I think it was 88 Finesse Temporis that did it, connecting the idea of blackjack to the eclipse. Okay, and anyway, we've got a blackjack date here, the 21st, especially nice with the number 11, and the whole premise of ace being 11 within blackjack. Okay, so this is kind of, it's an interesting date anyway, and so of course it obviously ties back to Vegas as well. So we're tying back to the Hoover Dam as well that way. So a couple other things to note. The following day is one president's death date, JFK. There's a lot of connection between Madonna, Marilyn Monroe, JFK, and preceding that day is Joe Biden's birthday. So another president. So it's kind of interesting splitting those two presidents there. Okay. Let's move to. So I want to show this connection with holiday, because obviously we've got Joe Biden here. There's going to be some. We've got to have a connection to a holiday with Joe Biden. And so I don't know if you know about this, but a few years back, Joe Biden and I guess and the buddy there, Kamala, came up with this one. Juneteenth. They made this a holiday. Okay, Juneteenth, the 19th of June, also called Jubilee Day. Okay, Black Independence Day. From what I hear from people is like it's just kind of random. It's kind of like where did it even come from, sort of thing. And I don't know, maybe it's more popular in a different part of the country already. Maybe it was something that was already popular somewhere else in the country. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of one of these weird things that's just sort of popped up. But the 19th of June every year. Okay. Now, what does I want to say about this? Well, we want to do another number jump, right? Let's see if I've got it up here. Yes, here it is. So, from Juneteenth, okay, through to this particular date, the 21st of November, 155 days. Okay, now if you watch the channel, you'll know the significance of 155. I was actually just talking about it in the last video to do with the lambda fold. Okay, so I'm actually going to talk about that fold here in a minute. We might actually just go ahead and do it so I can refresh everybody. And but this 155, a super interesting number. Okay, now what is more interesting about this as well is if we look, I think it's this one here. No, it's not that one. See, this is the problem with having so many tabs up. Here it is. If we go from Juneteenth through to the 18th of November now, we're going to be a couple of days shy, okay, of our 155. We've actually got 152 days. So the 18th is particularly interesting because when we go to this fold, you'll see where this 152 is, and you'll see that it's connected with, and I've got the gematria up here, 152 is connected with both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. 152 and 152. You have to have her full name in and his shortened name, so it's a bit of a cheat, but we do have a match there, okay, with the 152. So I want to show you really where this ties into the dollar bill and why that's kind of important, I suppose. So what we need to do, we need to come down here. I've got another different chart up. We'll come back to this chart in a minute. We want to go new. Don't save, come on. Hopefully you figured out by now just to fast forward these videos a little bit. Put them in 1.25 or 1.5 and it still sounds okay, and it shortens the videos down immensely. Now, what I'm going to show you here is we have a fold marker here, okay, and we have another fold marker here. Hopefully you can see my cursor. And what we're going to do is fold one side of the dollar bill over to the other side. So what we do, we'll put a fold line through that marker, head on up, okay. And what you'll notice is we're coming through the A here. We're coming through the A. And then we're going to join over onto this T here. Okay, but this fold marker here will match up with this fold marker here. but it's important to know that we've got the A and the T that are coming together. Okay, when we fold this over, it creates the Greek letter. Oof, almost got it. When we join the two markers up, so it looks like just one marker now, we have this Greek letter formed called lambda. Okay, and it's made out of the T and the A. Okay, now what is interesting about this is that lambda in the Greek alphabet is the 11th letter of the Greek alphabet. Okay, let's get the brushes. It's the 11th letter of the Greek alphabet, and it has a it has a value of 30. A numeric value of 30. Okay, so it gives us the date 11:30, and 11:30 just happens to be Billy Idol's birthday. Yeah, Billy Idol. This is the Billy Idol right here, the one, the I, dollar, bill, the Billy Idol. Okay, so this is Billy Idol's birthday. I've shown you before that Billy Idol has he has a number of tie-ins with Madonna. Yeah, they have some interesting connections. Okay, and not only is it Billy Idol's birthday, it's also St. Andrew's Day. St. Andrew is the great Scot. Okay, so we have this nice tie back with Back to the Future as well, with Doc. And Doc shares a few numbers in the gematria with Madonna, so forth and so on. Okay, and I think Billy Idol, I don't know what Billy Idol connection with gematria is to the dollar bill itself, but I do think Trump matches up with the dollar bill or something in some respect as well. I can't remember. It's in one of my old videos. Too much information kind of to just bung all in one video. But notice that what we have, where this lambda is made, this letter is made, we have, if we count up, we have one berry here, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves there. So we have essentially 155 right here in the middle of this thing. Okay, so this is 155. Now remember what I was saying, 155 from the holiday took us up to 1121. Well, we've got a huge 11 right here. Okay, and okay, so lambda, the Greek letter, right, is 11:30. But what we made that letter, what was making that letter is T and A. Yeah, and T is 20, A is 1, so we have a combined total there of 21. So you see how this now is giving us a reference back to Billy Idol's birthday and also the 21st, blackjack. So this is, I mean, I think this is interesting. Does it mean anything's going to happen? No, probably not, but I thought it was just worth mentioning, basically. I mean, that's, you know, this was one of the reasons why I thought this date was particularly interesting. I mean, even with the day of the year, the 236th day of the year, if you've been following the channel, you know I've talked about some little synchronicities with my grandfather, with Madonna, and obviously his birthday, 623, ties into that as well. And somewhere in the back catalogue, there is a video a long time ago of me talking about, I believe it's the song "Who's That Girl," and when I did that video a long time ago, the Wikipedia actually had, I'm sure it was the release date, as the 23rd of June, which has subsequently changed in the Wikipedia to the 29th of June. But it's just interesting that that date sort of ties back in with Who's That Girl, Madonna, etc. Okay, So anyway, what else did I want to show you here? Oh, so while we're on the topic of this, so we make this fold here, right? What we have to remember is, I've shown, in the last video I showed you this, where we've got the portrait frames here. We've got a portrait frame straight on, and if we were to think about this, this is the portrait side on. The portrait frame is side on here. So we're going to look at a front on portrait, which is this dude here in the $1 bill. So we have a 1, okay, with this portrait frame. Okay, so this is a 1, and then the side on view is Washington as a side on portrait, which is on the quarter, on the 25-cent piece. Okay, so this is 25 here, if you can read that. So what we have is either 251, or read it backwards, 152. Now that, Kamala and Biden are sharing this set of numbers here, and don't forget, this 21st here ties back with 155 back to 619. Okay, so this is interesting that ties back to 619, and that also ties us back to 619. And if you'll look in, well, let me just show you anyway. If you have seen other, let's do a different color. If you've seen other videos of mine about when we fold this completely over, this side completely over the dollar bill, what you'll see is that these two frames match up. Okay, so we have and basically what we end up with, that is not good, Dan. That is not good. In fact, I'll just show you what we end up with when we join these two sides. When these two come together here, we're going to end up with, we don't need any of this stuff now, pretty much done with that. Hopefully we get all the way back. This thing will only let you delete so far. Let me take that selection, and I'll show you this other fold where we come down through the owl. That's another fold marker. Join it over. So with that 251, the number that we're seeing there is 811. Okay, now I know it's not 811, it's not the 11th of November, but very similar numerology. Okay, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so we're not quite getting to the 18th, but it's extremely similar numerology. You could potentially, as I've done in decodes before, you see this here going up here. This is really phallic symbolism, I think, and what you actually end up with is, here's the 11 inside, and then the actual testicles and phallic symbol make the 11. Okay, that's that, so that is, depending on the way you're looking at it, it could be a 1118. Okay, anyway, that's all sort of old decoding stuff there as well, out of the back catalogue. So that was really the bulk of what I wanted to show you. Was there anything else that was really majorly, we've got this connection to holiday, we've got the connection to, let me show you this as well, we've got the connection to Biden and Harris back to Juneteenth, okay, and obviously the 155 days takes us there for Madonna, maybe, and the 152 days is very interesting as well. Okay, with them creating that holiday. Don't know, maybe that'll be the day they switch over. Oh, I'll tell you what else. Let's just look at that one more time, because I will tell you something, right? This is a president looking straight on, okay, here, and this is a side view. So what has happened here is there's been a change. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know, we've changed presidents. Yeah, it's interesting with the side view as well, because it's almost like it's not, it's almost like it's the, I don't know what to say. It's like you've got the proper president and then a sort of, well, the president that's on the side. I don't know. It's just a different president. It's like a switch of the president. Okay. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Couple more things just to mention, right? Actually, I want to hang on a minute. We want to go back to that other chart, which is basically, well, we don't really need all this top stuff, but this is basically Fibonacci sequence, lupus sequence, and then what I call the pi sequence. Okay. They're just these numbers are just repeated over and over again in here and collated, and everything's sort of lined up with certain numbers. Okay, I don't really want to go into it right now, but Madonna's birthday happens to be in the bottom of this thing. Okay, read this backwards. 16/8. Okay, so the 16th of August. It just happens to cross with 263. Okay, not in the correct order for the 300. The 200 and what the hell is it? It's the 326th day of the year. 326th day of the year. Oh yes, I'm so glad. And also just note this 40 here as well. So 326th day and 40. So not quite in the right order. Okay, because we've got 263, but instead of 326, but we've got the numbers there. What I've got down the bottom of here, if we check this where I've got my arrow here, this is the actual first 24 digits of actual pi. Okay, and then I also have the first 24 digits of the golden ratio, phi, down the bottom here. Now you'll notice these are just in order, you know, just going from the beginning out 24 digits, right? You'll notice that Madonna's birthday numbers show up in the golden ratio in phi, right? Now, if we come along and we look at the number 62, now Madonna shares gematria with train, as I've shown before. She shares gematria with train, so 62 connects to that. Okay, connects Madonna and train. Okay, 6226. Okay, notice what is underneath, what is lined up with that 6226 train. Okay, 04. So in fact, this is the golden ratio is the only time we see a zeros in an actual number sequence, because pi doesn't have a zero in it, at least not in the first 24 digits. So this is kind of interesting with the 40. Now, also note that what I have up here, this is Fibonacci, and it is lined up with 358 right here, and 358. So this Fibonacci is lined up with pi here. Now, look down the bottom as well. I've got another row of golden ratio numbers, which is also lined up with this Fibonacci sequence at the top. Check the 88 out, and we've got the 88 in the golden ratio lining up with Fibonacci. Okay, so these 288s are lining up as well. So notice when we have the 288s lining up, we have 911 lining up with 204. So I have this 911, particularly with the number 11, because we're in November, which is, well, November actually, 911 is a perfect it's the perfect month, okay, because of being named the 9th month and being the 11th month, okay. But check out our 40 that lines up with this here again, okay. It's the same 40 that was over here, but we've just lined up with Fibonacci now, and this 40 is lining up with 911. There was someone else in here that I was wanting to say as well. I can't remember what was. I think I said it all. I think that was it. I think it was just that lined up there as well, and this 40 lines up with the 62 here, the train. I'm gonna leave it there. Otherwise, this will just be way too long anyway. This video. So we've got some interesting lining up stuff there. Let's just go through a couple of these number jumps real quick. So we did the 97 days. We've done the 155 days. Okay. One other interesting thing is if we drop back a year, it's 521, which is at the top of the dartboard. Kind of interesting. And 521 as well is a 213 reference. Let me show you why. Let's go to this other chart now. If we look at Lucas numbers running across here, we'll see that we're in Lucas numbers, and there's the number 13. Obviously, the number 13 connected to Moon, Mary, okay, and obviously that's going to connect to Madonna, okay, and 521, okay, so that is super duper interesting. What else was there? Let's have a look. Oh, from Madonna's birthday through to that date, we've got 24204. Now remember, when we were just looking at that other chart, remember it was actually 204 that was underneath with 911, okay. But notice the 2424 repeated, which is again interesting. With we were looking at palindromic numbers earlier on with Madonna and Billy Idol, and we were going. There was a couple of them that were super interesting, but it was really the 24,142 day with her and the 25,152 day with him. Okay, so obviously 24 obviously is super duper interesting, and obviously 224 is also another, without going to the actual table, it's another date. Maybe I should just go to the table to show you it anyway while we're here. Well, I don't even think I can pull it up without messing around for 5 minutes. Let's not worry about that. It's just another switchover point, another balance point within all these three different cycles of Fibonacci, Lucas, and Pi. Okay. Let me show you something else, because I thought, you know what would be interesting? I'll just do a couple of number jumps from 911. Okay, and so I put the numbers of this particular date in 2111. Where does it bring me out? The 23rd of June. Yeah, back with that Who's That Girl reference date, and back with my grandfather again. Okay, and I did the reverse of that, and it happens to come out on Meatloaf's birthday. So, boy, I don't know. You know, just interesting thinking back to the Future, where really Marty is with his mother, which is a reference to Jesus with Mary, and um, there's a reference to Meatloaf in there. There's a reference to JFK in there, and obviously there's this reference to Doc, which is the 164 reference. What was I going to say about 164? It shows up on a whole bunch of some of the stuff up here. It shows up on a whole bunch of stuff to do with, like here, with Billy Idol, 311 Man, yeah? Cradle, this is Cradle of Love, and I'm pretty sure there's actually a couple of references in that video to Madonna, which is kind of interesting. There's some pictures on the wall. I don't know what actress it is, but it does remind me of Madonna. And Billy Idol's kind of, I want to say he's kind of got his hands around her neck a little bit or something. Anyway, there's a couple of other references in there. I can't be bothered to do it right now, but just look at this, the 164. Obviously, Doc's address in Back to the Future is 1640 Riverside Drive. Okay, so there's 164, and the connection back with Doc and the Great Scott, and you see it like here's that train crash, Mr. Big album, lean into it, right? Album cover again, release date 4/16. Okay, and so it seems to show up quite just all over the place. This 4/16. Here it is again. What it feels like for a girl. This is the video she did with Guy Ritchie, and again she dies at the end of the video. 4/16 showing up. Okay, I probably should have tried a few 4/16 number jumps. Let's see, from the 21st of November through to the 24th, which is the eve of Christmas. Mary, okay, Mary's Day, the eve of Christmas, if that makes sense. 33 days, okay, it's going to be 34 days through to Christmas, okay, so 33 and 34. I think that was it. Don't think I've got anything else. And then we've got the Harris Biden number jump here with the 152. Okay, that's really it. So we're looking. I don't know. It's just there's been a couple of interesting things with. Oh, there was one other interesting thing. I guess I'll just talk through it real quick. We were watching my daughter watches the Chiefs all the time, so of course we was watching the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. For those of you that don't follow American football, we were watching them this afternoon. Obviously, well, it's the 18th now, but that was on the 17th. Okay, and so they lost their first game. Okay, so they've won the last 9 games, and so they've lost this. This is the first game they've lost. So they've gone 9-1. Okay, 9-1 now. Okay, and I said, well, that's a reset number, because obviously 9/11. Oh, I'm going to write this in here, but the Fibonacci cycle starts actually. If we made that into a 9, that's the end of the Fibonacci cycle, and then it runs into. In fact, let's just go to the actual bloody reduced cycle down instead of trying to show it on. So look, we've got Fibonacci right at the top here. Okay, so 1-1, but let's look at the end of the cycle. So 9 is right here, and that goes through to 1-1 here. Okay, so 9-1-1 is a reset. Okay, it's a start over again, and you'll notice that 9-1 is really the end and the beginning. So this reference to 9-1 with the Chiefs. Okay, now what you'll notice as well is that the score, well, I think it was 20-31. So the score actually was the start of Lucas numbers. So that was super interesting as well. I think that's all I had for it. It was just the fact that they'd gone 9-1, that they were now 9-1, which is a reset, and this is the start of Lucas numbers. The score was the start of Lucas numbers, 20-31, I think it was, or maybe it was 30-21. I don't know what it was, but anyway, that was the numbers. Yeah, maybe it was 21-30. I don't know. Anyway, it was those numbers. Very interesting. Very extremely interesting. I think I'm gonna leave it there. That's the end of the video. I've got nothing really more to say apart. Oh, one more thing. When you do look at the Fibonacci sequence, let's go back down to this bottom one here, this blue one. Note that there's Madonna's. It's actually Matthew Perry's birthday, but if you flip it, if you just rotate it, you get Madonna's birthday numbers as well. Kind of interesting with what's next to it. Okay, that's our partial numerology for 11/21. Okay, so that's interesting as well. What else to say? That's it. We'll see. Probably nothing will happen, but it's just interesting, just super duper interesting connections. And I mean, the most interesting thing about that for me is, apart from a ridiculously interesting number jump from my birthday to that particular day, is this fact that the A and the T are making lambda, which is the 311 man, which is Billy Idol, St. Andrew the Great Scott, and it's also 20 and 121. Okay, and obviously 11/21 would be an interesting connection to have the death of Madonna on that day, because it's the birthday of Billy Idol in this, with the same symbols there. Alright, okay, done. I'll catch you on another one soon. Alright, well, keep your eyes and ears peeled for Biden and Kamala tomorrow. And also, one other interesting thing that old Biden's just done. Supposedly he's allowed long range missiles into Ukraine now, which is that's pretty interesting, because I believe what was said sometime earlier on was that Putin would get very upset if if the US did that. So it's interesting the timing of that, especially with the 17th. And obviously, oh, what I forgot to mention as well is, you know, with this 213 here. Oh, get this crap off here, Dan. With the 213, yeah, this is all to do with Pluto. Okay, this is all to do with Pluto. So this reset with the Chiefs, right, to do with Pluto, is what's mental about it is the 17th is a Pluto. It's a balance number between the ends of the two Pluto cycles. If you count from the beginning of the USA, what would have been the Queen's birthday, 2023, is the end of one cycle, and then I believe it would be the synodic cycle, and then I hope I'm getting that around the right way, and then Donald Trump's birthday this year would be the end of the sidereal cycle for Pluto. Okay, so you won't find the synodic cycle on Wikipedia. You have to do the math to figure it out. Okay, it comes out on what would have been the Queen's birthday, and the other one comes out on Trump's. And if you do the midpoint between those two dates, it's the 17th of November. Yeah, the midpoint for Pluto. The next day, the 18th, is Mickey Mouse's birthday. There's a good connection there. Anyway, that's what's significant about that Chiefs reset thing, is it ties in with Pluto. Okay, if I did some more digging on it, I could probably find there's probably couple more obvious things there, but I just couldn't be bothered. And now I've lost my train of thought. I was going to mention someone else now, and I forgot now. Now let's just call it a day. Let's just call it a day. Oh no, that was what I was going to mention. While we're on the subject of Madonna, Christopher Walken shows up with Madonna on a number of occasions, and the reason why it's important this year, because Christopher Walken's birthday is on Easter. This year Easter was on his birthday, whichever way around you want to look at that. Christ Walker, and also Christopher Walken. In A View to a Kill, there is a ton of references to this idea of, a lake running dry, and it's absolutely loaded with references to stuff that's been going on. Okay, but to cut a long story short, there is a point in that film where you see his plan for flooding or sinking Silicon Valley, if you like, and when you look at the little it's a map. It's a little model thing that they have. When you see that model map thing, it looks just like the Chiefs' sort of, arrowhead symbolism. Okay, which it was just a little ominous. Okay, so anyway, that's why I'm leaving it with the arrowhead. And this latest reference with the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, done. I'm out. I'll catch you on another one soon. Cheers. All right, bye.